So everything you guys just saw was filmed on the Panasonic GH5. In fact, everything that you see moving forward, with the exception of this A-roll, was filmed using the Panasonic GH5. So about a month ago, B&H Photo invited me to this white elephant holiday gift exchange alongside other YouTubers. In fact, I actually did a live stream on my Instagram story. If you guys follow me there, you guys might have seen this, but it was a pretty amazing experience, and I got to borrow a GH5 from them. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to kind of do a follow-up video. So the last time I played around with the Panasonic GH5 was literally 2 years ago when it first came out. Now I know a couple of things have changed, and I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to try it out and let you guys know if this is a camera that I could recommend in 2019. So one of the first things I did when I picked up the camera was obviously charge the batteries, and I changed a couple of the settings. Now I stayed away from shooting in vlog just because I haven't really had a chance to really play with it and experiment with it. And I know sometimes when shooting in log, you have to, for the most part, overexpose. So I just wanted to keep it very simple for me to later color grade, of course. So I ended up picking a neutral picture profile, which I think ended up looking very nice just right out of the box, and needed just a bit of saturation and a bit of contrast to make the image really pop. So something else that I've noticed that has improved quite drastically actually is the autofocus. Back in early of 2017 when I first used this camera, which was literally almost 2 years ago, the autofocus was terrible. You had to go into the settings and make a lot of different changes in order for it to just work okay, or at least decent. Now it's actually pretty good. In fact, this whole entire trip that I was in New York, I left autofocus on. So I used only two lenses, two native lenses. One of them was the 12-35, which is a Panasonic lens, and the 35-100 f2.8. And both of them in autofocus performed really well. I never had any really big issues unless it was very dark. In low light, facial recognition was really bad. But if I was filming cars, any buildings, or any type of object in low light, it seemed to perform pretty well. But faces is really where it struggled the most. But overall, autofocus in just normal use, regular day, if there's light conditions that are pretty good, you're not gonna have any real big issues there. Now, when I was in New York, I had 2 full days of filming. So I literally took the camera out as soon as we left the hotel, which was early in the morning. And from there and on, we were filming basically almost the whole entire time. And I can tell you, battery life is phenomenal. I literally just used one battery the whole entire day. I would only swap it out at the very end of the day. And mind you, we would sometimes go to bed around midnight, so we would still be filming even up till 11 o'clock at night. So a lot of times if we were on an Uber ride, it was really cold outside, so I would just swap out the battery maybe around 9 or 10 o'clock. I would still have about 25% battery life left. And the only reason why I would swap out the battery is just because it was so cold that I didn't want to mess with my backpack or anything like that, and I just wanted to go out and film. So I would put a fresh one in there. But in terms of battery life, you could get through the whole entire day with just one battery very easily, in fact. And if you end up picking up 2 batteries, you'll definitely have enough to last you the whole entire day, and even additional for the following day without having to charge. Now, I really wanted to challenge myself in the sense that I didn't want to use a tripod, I didn't want to use a gimbal. I just wanted to use this camera with the lens, keep it as compact as possible, and see how it would perform. Now, I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it again. The in-body image stabilization on the GH5 is probably amongst the best, if not the best, from any camera available today. It is phenomenal. It works like it is on rails. It's like it's on a gimbal. In fact, we put it probably to one of the most ultimate tests and rode inside a helicopter without any doors. Now, you think a helicopter is pretty smooth for the most part, but trust me when I say this, it is actually very shaky, and it's turning, and there's a lot of wind, and remember, this is doors off, so you have a lot of wind pushing back. And the image stabilization, mind you, even at 100 mil, was fantastic. It is a true testament of how amazing the in-body image stabilization is on this camera. In fact, I don't think there would have been a better camera to take up onto this helicopter, because we were able to capture some of the best video, aerial photography really, and video that I've ever done ever. So that was really cool to do, especially in New York City. That was just probably the pinnacle of my whole entire trip. But aside from the awesome in-body image stabilization that this camera has, one of the reasons why I actually want to buy this camera in 2019 is because of slow motion. The slow motion on this camera is fantastic. You can shoot 4K 60. You can also do 120 frames per second in 1080p, but it's 1080p that looks like 4K when you upscale it. So the slow motion on this camera is amongst the best from any mirrorless camera that you can buy today. And you couple that with this awesome in-body image stabilization, you are able to get some of the best B-roll shots that you can with any mirrorless camera today. And that's actually one of the reasons why I want to pick this up, is because this can be my B-roll camera that I can take with me on the go, and I can capture really great slow motion, the in-body image stabilization. So paired that with a really good image, 10-bit, it is a rock solid camera. So in this trip, I got to really use it as somebody would use it on a real day in the life of this GH5. You know, I got to use this camera like a normal person, not in a studio environment where it's perfectly lit and everything is like perfect. You know, this is like extreme conditions. We were in subways, we were in like low light, we tested the autofocus. I mean, everything was just kind of put through a really strenuous test. And at the end of the day, I was just really impressed with the quality of video that I was able to get with the GH5, especially now that we are in 2019. You have so many different options that are available. So I think the GH5 checks all the marks of what a good mirrorless camera should have in 2019. Number one is image quality. You can get a very clean looking image from the GH5. In fact, I've actually even shot some more video after my trip. A friend of mine owns a GH5 and I got to use it and play with it, and actually shot some of my videos here on YouTube with the GH5, and I just love the image that you can get from it. Number two is a good codec. So you can get 10-bit internally. You don't need an external recorder in order to do that. So that is something that is awesome that you can do, and you can couple that with professional work. So if you need 10-bit, the camera is capable of filming internally 10-bit. Number three is in-body image stabilization. So a lot of cameras now have this already, but not like the GH5. The GH5 is just on a whole different level. It is literally one of the best, like I said, or the best in-body image stabilization that you can get. It is awesome. Number four, slow motion. So slow motion on this camera is amazing. Again, it's on the top of the list, and this is one of the reasons why I personally plan to pick one up in 2019, because of the slow motion. Number five, articulating display. Now this may or may not be important to you, but I can tell you that it's nice to have even if you don't think you might need it, because even just for photography, if you want to do it over the head shot, you can literally just position the camera, you have an articulating display, and even just for photography, it's so useful and versatile. So to me, I'd rather have it than not have it. So that's just something that I have to give points to. And lastly, price. You can pick this up for $1,600, which is actually very impressive for a mirrorless camera that is so capable and has all of these features. Definitely a win, and I can recommend the GH5 without a doubt, and I actually do plan to pick one up for myself. So before I leave, I do want to thank B&H Photo for sending me to New York. By the way, this video is not sponsored by Panasonic. We were just happened to use it, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to do a follow-up video. So, but again, thank you B&H Photo for sending me out there, because my experience was just amazing. My name is Armando. Thanks again for watching, and you guys will catch me in the next one. Adios.